Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome. My name's Kat. I don't know you, you don't know me, probably, but I am a paranormal enthusiast, a medium, and an armchair ghost hunter. And I thought it would be really fun to, watch and talk about ghost hunting shows. Why not, right? We are gonna start off this adventure.
Ghost Adventures.
5. Most Haunted. We're starting with episode 1, season 1, which apparently aired in 2003, 2002, before 2005, which was when I first saw it. So I may have never actually seen this. I have thoughts and opinions and absolutely no personal lived experience ghost hunting whatsoever. But I do have opinions on how other people do it. I don't know what to tell you, but I am armed with my opinions. Everything I say is my opinion. Episode 1, season 1 of Most Haunted. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So sit back, relax, get your drink. I've got water. And let's take a ghostly walk down memory lane, shall we? Is it gonna ruin it? Probably. All right, let's go. This is fine.
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. We're about to embark on one of television's most extensive investigations into the paranormal.
Are we?
We guarantee no tricks, no camera illusions, and no practical jokes. If we find nothing, then you'll see nothing. But if we do manage to catch anything at all, we will share it with you honestly and leave it up to you to make up your own mind.
Off to a strong start. This intro is so nostalgic for me. So nostalgic.
While we're in the West Country, we came across one of the strangest hauntings we've ever heard of and just had to investigate. We've come to Athelhampton Hall near Dorchester to spend 24 hours in search of the truth.
Ooh, 24 hours.
There's been a manor at Athelhampton for over 1,000 years, but parts of the present building date back to the Middle Ages. Its history is a checkered one.
Do we think that these photos that they're showing right here are actually of people who lived or worked at this manor, Athelhampton Hall, right? Sure. Do we think that they are, or do we think that these are just random creepy old photos that they sourced? I mean, theoretically, like, a place like this would have a pretty extensive archive, theoretically, of photos from the history of the home.
From a fine manor house, it fell into disrepair as a tenant farm, but was restored to its former glory by the Cook family, who still live here today. If the books are anything to go by, Athelhampton is one of the 10 most haunted houses in England.
This is no ordinary haunted house, and the brave souls that will be spending the night with me to face the unknown are the crew. Here they all are. Say hello, crew. Hello. They've got no idea what they're letting themselves in for.
Apparently not. I don't think I have seen this, because when I remember actually seeing this, like, you never got those kind of shots of the crew.
Now, if we do catch any paranormal activity on camera, somebody that will be looking for hard evidence is, of course, our parapsychologist, Jason Carl. Now, Jason, what sort of things do you try to find?
Well, we're looking for hard evidence of that. I mean, I'm not looking for anecdotes.
This show made me want to be a parapsychologist when I was, like, how old was I in 2002? I don't know. Early teens. I would go to the library and check out books on parapsychology because they had them. Parapsychology it's like I think a lot of people consider it like a pseudoscience, or maybe like a quack science, something like that. Nothing that most people take seriously anymore. It is basically the study of unexplained phenomena. And I looked into it a few years ago because secretly I would still love to do it. I guess it's not a secret anymore. Anyway, the point is that basically no one offers this. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 universities here or there where you might be able to do a degree in it, but not that I found.
Local encounters of people saying they've seen something. I want corroborated evidence, so that's things on equipment, that's 2 or 3 people seeing the same thing at once.
So what sort of equipment are you going to be using tonight?
Well, today, one of the things that I want to sort of focus on is EMF meter. This is the most common ghost hunting gadget that you can get, really. This tests the electromagnetic field, which exists everywhere. Everything has a field which is quite low. If the field rises, this will tell us that. And if I can rule out any natural reasons for the rise in the EMF fluctuations, that may indicate that a ghost or spirit or something anyway is happening.
Well, there's supposed to be 7 ghosts here, and one of
So that's the only that's the only piece of equipment that we're using, I guess. This was back in the day before we had all of this. You know, we had just the EMF detector was what they would take, which, as he explained, would measure the electromagnetic fields in an area. And I'm going to say they're probably going to find some pretty high spikes because somehow I doubt that the insulation on the wiring in this house is very good. Everything's a ghost. I have an EMF detector. And I did find an interesting, like, weird little, like, bubble of a fairly high electromagnetic fields, whatever. I don't know what that is, but like that doesn't mean that there's a ghost in my living room, says the medium. I mean, there are ghosts in my living room, but
them is an ape.
That's right.
Strange.
It's an unusual one. I mean, most people think of ghosts as being humans, people walking around. But there are just as many reported sightings of alleged ghost encounters of animals, also even of transportation, buses and cars, and of houses as well. So it's not just humans.
Also, is it true to say that ghosts don't like lights?
Well, if you accept that ghosts exist, we can only look at it from statistics. And over the last 10 years, we have seen, through investigations that we've done all over the world, that more unusual occurrences or unexplainable occurrences occur when the lights are off. So yeah.
Now, is it true that ghosts don't like lights? No. Early days of televised ghost hunting. Is it because I'm looking at this through a 2025 lens? The idea that ghosts don't like the light is honestly comical. Like, it's pretty damn entertaining, honestly. In my opinion, it's not that ghosts don't like lights so much as I think in the dark, other senses are heightened, so we might be more prone to noticing the things that go bump in the night.
Yes, if you want something to happen, in order to make them sort of increase the likelihood, you turn the lights off.
Now, we're going to be meeting our spiritual medium,
To increase the likelihood that you're going to notice it.
Derek Corey, later.
My opinion is alleged.
What are you looking for in Derek?
I'm going to be looking for Derek to come up with names, dates, precise and small details, which may seem irrelevant, that we can check. Things that he couldn't have known in advance. I mean, Derek doesn't know where he's coming, so we need very small, intricate pieces of information that he couldn't possibly have known, and which I can check with the owner.
Yeah.
And later on, perhaps then that will show that what he's
That would
doing
be
is
the
something
point.
other than remembering facts. We want more evidence than that.
Okay. And of course, he is the last member of our team, and he's actually on his way to the location now, and we've given him no information whatsoever of Athelhampton Hall, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see what he comes up with.
So many commercials.
Well, the Cook family moved here in 1957. My grandfather bought the house. He was a surgeon by profession, but he wanted to retire to a house where he could house his antiques collection. And I think he had a taste for something a little bit different as well. I think having lived here for 30 years, there have been certain sort of spine-chilling moments. But I don't think I've ever seen a ghost myself, but I do sort of feel the place has quite a presence.
Never seen anything, but I have a feeling. And that's fine. As a medium, I'm not going to... With that feeling, it's like, is it haunted, or are you just scared of the dark and a creaky, ancient house that goes up in the night? I'm not fun at parties.
Even my son, who's age 3, has already picked up certain sort of vibes about certain bits of the house being spooky.
It all started when I was pregnant with our first little boy, George. And what worried me most is that it was actually seemed to be very much concentrating on me, and it was a constant presence all the time. And I suppose you could argue I was emotional and hormonal and everything else. But it got very, very oppressive. I had terrible nightmares. I couldn't sleep at night. The first time I put him in his cot when he was 3 weeks old, I bent over the cot and I felt something touch me on my shoulder, and that really frightened me. I actually asked somebody to bless that part of the house and find out what it was, and she found that it was a child.
Maybe I'm just being pedantic, but if you bring someone to bless the house, theoretically, at least in my mind, we're talking like religious something or other, usually to get rid of something, not investigate and find out what it was. And they're saying that it's a child. Like, what? Do we have evidence to corroborate that there was, in fact, a child who passed away at this? I mean, as old as it is, chances are, yeah, at some point in the home's history, a child has passed away on the property, in the house.
Girl. She said that she thought it was probably 16th century, this little girl. And I thought that was actually quite sad that it had gone on that long without anybody sort of doing anything about it. And
probably 16th century. Again, it goes back to like, what evidence do we have to corroborate? As I said at the beginning, I am a medium. I can speak to the dead. Whether you want to believe that or not, it's totally up to you. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. But even as a medium, like, I like evidence. Like, I like to know after the reading, like, have I just been completely talking out of this whole time? Or is there actually historical evidence to support what I have picked up? I know, like, you know, you see a lot of shows that try to do that. Most of them, in my opinion, are kind of a stretch. But 2002, everything's a ghost, and we just believe it because scary. I probably absolutely would have believed that, yes, there's the ghost of a child from the 16th century. Yeah, the idea to think that a child who died in the 1500s is still roaming around its home is kind of sad. But, well, you know, like, but why is the child still there? Is it stuck or is it happy? Because the idea of having the house blessed, you want to move something on, but what if something doesn't want to move on? Am I getting ahead of myself? Yeah.
And yet also quite pleased and thankful that I had actually asked, even though I felt a bit stupid at the time.
It just wants to just come off. It doesn't want to stay on my shoulder. Every single time, always this shoulder.
This is the Great Hall.
I don't think
and
I
it's
have
the
uneven
oldest room in the
shoulders.
house. Now, it used to be used as the living room, the dining room, and the bedroom by every member of the household. Now, there are supposed to be two ghosts here, seen in the evening time, fighting a duel before they both sit down to have an evening meal together.
Dueling ghosts.
The most unusual ghost here at Athelhampton Hall is that of an ape. Now, it was the family pet of the Martins in the 1500s, and the story goes that the ape was trapped in a secret
Imagine
passageway
having an ape as a
behind
pet.
the wall.
I mean, I know that there are people who have kept apes. What kind of ape? Is that a type of ape? Like, is there just one that's called an ape? Like, I have to Google this. What is it? But what was it? It was like a chimpanzee, an orangutan, probably a chimp. Usually what insane people keep as pets until said chimpanzee goes absolutely apeshit and rips their face off. Yeah. Don't have exotic animals as pets. How do you even get one? Leave them where they're supposed to be.
Walls, and often it can be heard scratching to get out. The most reported ghost here is that of the Grey Lady, who walks through the passageways and comes into this bedroom. A housemaid once mistook her for a member of the public, and when she asked the Grey Lady to leave, she obligingly stood up and disappeared.
I have thoughts
through the
about
wall.
a member of the public, that comment.
Our spiritual medium, Derek Akora, had arrived. Now remember, he's been given no prior information about the whereabouts or history of Athelhampton. Just to get us all in the mood, what could be better than ghost stories around the fire?
Ghost stories
and to
around
ask
the fire.
questions that intrigue some members of the crew.
Derek,
I
do you
love
think
that
it's a good
fireplace.
idea to have your house blessed?
Well, I personally don't believe that they should be moved on. I would say leave it to them whether they want to move on or not. As long as they're not hurting us or bothering us, and we're quite happy for them to be around us.
It's interesting as well that
I was expecting him to be like super unhinged because I feel like I remember him being a little like insane, but I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. It's like why, you know, unless, exactly like he said, unless they're hurting you or hindering your life in some way, like why try and force something out? Like, okay.
you ask whether it's a positive thing or not. And if you look at case histories where people have had a house blessed or exorcised, In a lot of cases, the people have reported that, in fact, it has disturbed them, hasn't moved them on. To give them a blessing is all fair and well if that's your belief, but it may not be the religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs of the person who is the ghost.
Yeah,
The look on her face, she's like, I'm Catholic and I don't agree. But I mean, the point that he's making, though, you don't know what religion these people were, these ghosts were. Because they could be Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever. And you go give it a Catholic blessing. My experience with religion is Southern Baptist. And we're in therapy. Anyway, you don't know what religion there are. And I am assuming, I'm making an assumption. Please correct me if there are other denominations, other flavors of Christianity that do blessings. But I'm assuming that we're coming at this from a Catholic lens. Blessing. Nobody's mentioned an exorcism yet. But, I mean, it doesn't sound like they believe that they have demons. Everything's a demon also, by the way. It's a ghost and it's a demon. Everything. In 2002, everything's a ghost. I'm rambling. Why move them on if they're not bothering you or hurting you in some way? If they are not making your life worse, why are we worried about moving them on? I don't know.
They resent it because, they look at themselves generally 9 times out of 10. They know they've left the physical body. They're in a spirit body, but they know they still exist.
Is it true that animals can actually see ghosts, or is that just a myth?
Oh, it's not a myth, Rick. It's very true. Because they've not got the intellect and they don't use the brain like us people, and they go off their pure senses anyway.
Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry, but can you just look at Alfie? What is he looking at? Because he's not looking at me, and I know that sounds daft, but he's looking in between me and Rick.
Yes, he's transfixing his eyes, isn't he? Yeah.
Does he see his reflection in the lens?
No,
He's not looking at the camera.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's having a
no.
look, yeah.
What can you see?
Yeah. Yeah. He's aware. Look at him.
Oh, good God, what's
Okay.
here?
No, it's really straining. I have a job to hold.
He's seeing it, yeah.
I was really having to
See, there's no shadow there now, can
He was really straining. Really
That was weird, just as you were talking about it
went like
as
that,
well.
It's a ghost.
Yeah, I think you have to
Everyone
remember that
panicked.
this is an unusual situation for him as a dog. There's lots of lights.
he's been normal all of a sudden. As soon as you mention that one question, then he pipes up like that.
A moment ago, he was looking over. He was looking
Interesting. Exactly, thank you. It's interesting, but it's not evidence. And they're all, like, a bit freaking out. The parapsychologist guy, 100% correct. It's anecdotal, but it's not evidence. Like, has the dog done this before? Like, is there a pattern? Is it a specific place? Like, my cat stares at ghosts all the time. That's the joke. But it's not ghosts. It's just she's staring off into oblivion. She's communing with the void, you know? It's very of the time. You saw them all just keyed up over, like, oh, look at it. Look at that. It's a ghost. Like, oh, what's he looking at? And sis, really, it's not evidence. Like, even as a medium, like, do I think that the dog was looking at something? Maybe, but that's still not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, there's a ghost over there. We're too excited about a dog fixating on a spot. My dogs do that too. And there are not necessarily ghosts wherever it is that they're looking at. Sometimes it's just my grandmother outside because she's not allowed inside. Don't worry about that. Let's move on.
So Jason was not convinced by Alfie's behaviour, and the crew had no
'cause he shouldn't
idea
be.
what was in store for them.
Whatever it is doesn't want you there.
This was the first time the crew had spent the night in a haunted house. It was time to start the
First time
investigation.
ever.
Wanna lose?
In this lovely building, there are 4 ladies, like sisters. They're very close to each other. And 2 of them come here. 2 of them.
Strangled, I'm not sure.
Not 4. but two come in visitation. They talk about meeting, although I don't feel she's connected. The older lady, quite often.
Oh, okay, so they are, right, they are kind of giving us a little bit of, I guess, evidence.
Meeting, although
like,
I don't feel she's connected.
Like, 4 daughters of Nicholas Martin resided at Athelhampton from 1550 to 1595. So, yeah. Maybe one of them was... Well, no. One of them wouldn't be the little girl from earlier who supposedly died in the 16th century, because if they all, 4 of them, lived there for 1550 to 1595, that's 45 years. None of them would have been children, assuming that they all lived the whole 45 years. You know, people just dropped like flies back then. Is that plague times?
The older lady, quite often, they pass each other by. I just feel as if I'm being drawn by the elder lady to a bedroom.
That is a bit sad, though, to think that, like, a couple of these sisters are potentially still there in spirit and aren't, like, with each other. They're just sort of existing and not really interacting, or not able to interact. I don't know. Maybe they don't interact. Maybe they don't like each other. Maybe they've gone no contact.
And it may be of interest, you know, maybe some people...
Now, you'll sometimes hear Derek referring to Sam. He's a spirit being who gives information to Derek from people who have departed from this world and wish to communicate.
My spirit guide is named Alma, and I think she's related to me. I have no proof of that. Again, no evidence, so take it with a grain of salt. Maybe I'm insane.
With the living.
2 of these ladies, they come here, and one of them is one of the ladies that walks the stairs. She walks the passageways. One of these 2 sisters, she does it purposely. The other one stays out of sight, I believe. And William Martin walks here as well. William Martin.
Sir William Martin, great-great-grandfather of the Martin sisters, resided at Athelhampton Hall and died in 1504. If this medium, Derek Akora, genuinely was not aware of this before actually showing up, that's impressive to me. We love a name. If that is genuine, then that's impressive. I don't know if I believe that it is genuine, because it's on television, it's produced. I don't know. Would love for it to be real, but is it? What do you think? Do you think it's real? Like, opinions. Like, I know it seems like I should just believe everything the medium says, because I too am a medium. But a lot of mediums are full of shit. A lot of mediums are just cold readers. But theoretically, in a situation like this, where supposedly he doesn't know where he is, or who lived there, or how long ago they lived there, you can't see my hand, but just know that I am gesticulating wildly. But assuming that he genuinely has no idea where he is, this would be more, like, how would you cold read that? Again, going back to, there's some thoughts I have about a location like this. We'll get into that later.
In actual fact, Sam says, this really belongs to William.
What belongs to William?
Your soul!
This building.
The house.
The house. Belongs to him, in his heart.
You can hear me swallow. That's alarming.
What is that noise? Shh, shh.
What noise? Oh, I think I hear
What is that noise? Shh, shh. Oh my God.
Fortunately, we
here.
did pick up the sound of the
She
cot
said it
rocking
was
in
the
the next
cot
bedroom,
rocking.
even though it's very quiet. And Andrea actually saw it move
What a
on its
horrifying cot, crib, whatever. Bassinet. Like, whatever that's called. Like, that looks horrifying.
How is it rocking?
It wasn't doing it fast, it was doing it much more slowly.
Like controls?
Yeah.
Was it like...
God, I heard that.
Yes.
I heard that. I heard that.
It was doing it
it definitely with quite a lot of
With control, yeah, and that's a heavy cot, so you'd need a lot of physical strength.
You would need a lot of physical
There
strength
was
to
no one
move
else
it.
around except for us three and the camera people in the room, so there can't have been anyone in here. There's nowhere they could have gone. I did hear the noise. We all heard it, didn't
I
we?
heard it.
I've always
Do you know what I'm gonna say? I feel like you know what I'm gonna say. I know what I'm gonna say. Actually, I don't necessarily know what I'm gonna say. But, alright, okay. Everything's a ghost in 2002, okay? In 2002, everything's a ghost. So they've heard this ghastly looking cot rocking back and forth. Like this big, thick, heavy wooden cot thing. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Who knows? Right, so, like, they've got this, like, cot, you know, big, heavy, hefty, like, horrifying looking thing that you would put a baby in. I mean, I know that they would, like, pat it or whatever, but it's, like, rocking back and forth in a room that they're not in, right? That supposedly no one else is in. And then you hear this woman, her, saying, "Oh my God, it's the cot." Like after, maybe I'm mishearing, but like almost after it seems to kind of start slowing down. Do you smell what I'm stepping in? Do you see where I'm going with this line of thought? She's not in the room when they hear it, but we hear her somewhere off camera saying, "Oh my God, the cot's moving." Is it moving?
I've never liked that cot. I've always had a really funny feeling
What's the
about
history
it.
of it? Do you know at all?
I don't know. I think it's a
Camera people in the room, so there can't have been anyone in here. There's nowhere they could have gone. I did hear the noise. We all heard it, didn't
I
we?
heard it. I've never liked that cot. I've always had a really funny feeling
What's the
about
history
it.
of it? Do you know at all?
I don't know. I think it's original to
is.
this house.
It is.
Ghastly
And the one who
looking.
walks of the daughters that belongs with her.
So this is definitely connected to one of the
Yes.
sisters.
Yes.
Maybe one
Shall
of the
we,
sisters had a
turn the
child
lights
that
off?
died. Maybe that's
Let's put the lights out. Let's
the
go
girl
for it.
who died. Let's put the lights out
As
because
Jason
ghosts
mentioned
don't
earlier,
like light.
having the lights off would hopefully encourage more paranormal activity, and it seems some members of the crew were feeling uneasy.
Hopefully.
What are you sensing?
Oh, I don't want to go in there. That's just a corridor as well. I don't like it. Just went in here then, assuming it come from that side, and I've just walked in there and it just feels absolutely awful, and I cannot go in there.
What are you feeling when you walk forward?
Oh, I don't like it.
What is it you feel?
What is it you don't like?
What is it?
It just doesn't feel right.
That's
It's
a
making
fly.
me feel
That's a fly.
I'm not going there.
I can't feel it.
I went round there and it just felt absolutely awful, and then it keeps
feels
coming
like
back and forth. It's like a depressing thing that just comes upon me. I just can't be near it, and it's whenever I go further down, but it comes to me and then it'll go, and that's why I said I'll go down there, and it just happened again. Yeah.
That's what I was holding. I was actually holding onto the wall there because it was just like this. It was
Just like something
forbidding.
It's just
It
like
was forbidding.
something gripped you.
Is it something? Is it frightening?
Yes.
Yes, it is frightening.
Why? Why are you scared of it?
I like what this guy has just asked. Why? Is it frightening? And why? I read houses more than I actually read for sitters, like looking to communicate with like deceased loved ones. But I've never been ghost hunting. One thing that I ask, and I don't think this is very popular. One thing that I tend to ask when I have someone who's just terrified of a certain space in their house, like their basement or something. That's a very common thing to be scared of, which is fair. I don't fucking like my basement either. When someone is just very scared and afraid or just put off by a space in their home, the question for me is always, is it genuinely a ghost, a spirit, or are you just afraid? Is it a ghost or are you just afraid? As I think especially kind of in this realm, especially people who do believe everything's a ghost. In 2002, everything's a ghost. And it's not always a ghost. It's not always a ghost. Sometimes spaces just feel weird. Sometimes they are haunted. Sometimes they just feel weird. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes you've just got a random, neutral, benign spirit in there, but the space just kind of feels weird because the basements are weird. There's just a psychological association with basements, and they feel weird. You want to run up the stairs so that Sadako from The Ring doesn't crawl up out of her well to come and get you on the way up the stairs. Anyway, I don't remember where I was going with that, but I think it's normal to be scared of certain dark spaces. The fact that he is the only one, well, him and the other guy, Carl, who I'm pretty sure that's his dad, the they're like the only ones that can kind of feel what is sounding like an oppressive feeling in this space. Like that's interesting to me, and other people can't feel it because, I mean, we've seen them previously, like, oh, the dog sees something over there, like, oh, like they kind of feed off of each other for sure. When anything happens that might be something or probably isn't, they kind of feed off each other. But now they're like almost like gaslighting him, like, oh, what, nobody feels this, oh, nobody feels this, why don't you want to go?
It's
the feeling. For me,
I can't describe it. It's the feeling, but it's like they don't, whatever it is, doesn't want you there.
And you felt the same thing?
Literally, I was holding on to the wall at one point, and as soon as I saw Mark was there with the camera, I just, I knew that he had a shot.
It's interesting that you both picked up on the same thing, but Derek didn't.
Derek wanted to go upstairs.
That is interesting, is, that they pick up on what they are saying is like a strange feeling that's making them feel really uncomfortable, but then our medium doesn't. I don't know if that means anything to me. It just kind of feels like, oh, okay, interesting. So I don't always pick up on like weird feelings that other people have.
Find a secret passageway. He was getting information from his spirit guide Sam about the legend of the trapped monkey, Martin's ape.
This is the stairwell down.
Martin's ape.
And the monkey.
What kind of monkey, though? What kind of ape?
To go into the cellar. Feel the essence of him. Come. Oh.
What was that? Oh.
It seems that this monkey was used to being looked after, cared for. He had a master, and there was one daughter who tried to apparently, befriend. But the reason why the monkey, still to this present day, roams is because he's not linked up with his master again. He misses him, and he's going through all this.
So he's lost.
But he's a kindred animal, a lovely, placid animal. And
I mean, that's nice, but
like that a lot.
Again, like, I think we heard earlier, like, at the beginning, like, people were reporting, like, scratching sounds. And again, assuming that he has actually legitimately heard none of this, then that's impressive. Do I believe that he had no idea where he was going and had no knowledge of the history of this place? In my opinion, probably. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't.
Scratching.
People have reported hearing a scratching noise, which they put down to the legend of the monkey.
It's the monkey doing it. Not because the monkey's distressed or feeling jammed. The monkey's doing this just as
feeling
I suppose a gesture to say, hey, I'm around,
Well, the story has it the monkey was locked inadvertently in this staircase with somebody else, and it couldn't escape and starved.
Sad.
And that's why it's scratching. And
I hate that.
Get out.
No. I beg to differ on that. That monkey had the freedom to come up and down, and he did leave his own physical body here, but it wasn't a case of being jammed, and I don't feel it.
He's saying jammed isn't stuck, but
anyway,
that's a little bit better. So the legend, of course, is that the monkey got trapped, but the medium is saying that that's not the case. So what is it? I mean, I suppose the monkey could have just been really, really old and maybe was going up and down the stairs and then just dropped dead on the stairs. I don't know. Maybe. That could be, that's honestly probably a little more plausible than got trapped. He just died. Just dead. Dead.
Way, shape or form is if this monkey was distressed before leaving its physical body.
Let's go and have a break.
Wait, hold on. I missed something. I need to go back. Something
Did leave his own physical body here,
right?
But it wasn't a case of being jammed.
Okay.
And I don't feel in any way, shape or form as if this monkey was distressed before.
Okay. So we don't feel that it was distressed. So it probably did just drop dead on the stairs. I would have probably wanted a break after that too.
With Derek's insistence that the history was wrong about the famous Martin's ape, the night was taking an interesting turn.
I have a thought about that, and it's like half formed in my head, but this I'm more inclined to believe, like insistence that history is wrong. So how often do we find that out, that we believed something for so long about like world history or about a local history, only to find out later that it is in fact not true. This is just the legend. Somebody got carried away, made up a fucking story, and now everybody thinks it is true. The story that Derek told about the monkey, that seems a lot more plausible. The simpler version, the less sinister version, is in fact more plausible.
Most of the crew had retired to bed, and that left just a few of us to continue our
It would have
hunt.
been. I would have been gone.
We decided
No.
to split into
You're
two
gonna have me
groups
up that late.
covering two
That'd be
sections
bitch.
of the house. The boys decided to go into the secret passage where the ape was supposed to have been trapped. It was very damp, cold, and very dark.
I mean, isn't that like the UK in general? Cold, damp, and dark. I've never been there.
Fine.
I think this would be an interesting place considering the.
It wants
the
to
monkeys.
escape my shoulder
sit on these stairs.
so badly.
Please try to show yourself to us if you can.
The classic night vision takes me back.
That is right by my ear. There is something golden. There is something breathing on my ear. If you're behind there, try and show yourself. There is something definitely breathing on my ear. I don't mind. I don't feel threatened.
I mean, probably drafty.
Something definitely breathing on my ear. I don't mind. I don't feel threatened. Well, that's a first for me. There's something still very cold on the back of my neck.
Was there someone or something keeping the boys company in the secret passageway?
Could just be a
Whatever it
draft.
was definitely making them feel uneasy. Meanwhile, Jason, myself...
But you see, they're not checking for a draft, you know? They're just sitting at the bottom of these stairs in this cold, drafty, dank cellar, damp even, and saying like, oh, I feel something cold on the back of my neck. It's like somebody breathing. Okay, yeah, like... that tracks. That makes sense. I would expect to feel that in that space. But they haven't checked. They've just sat there and like, oh, well, it's like someone's breathing and I don't mind it. But, you know, like they've done nothing to actually check and see if maybe there's a draft. I mean, in a house like that, there could be anything that's like open, just like a little hole, like anything where like air could get in, and they've just... It's 2002. Everything's a ghost.
And Bev, the director, were up in the bedroom keeping a vigil on the cradle that moved on its
Stupid
own
cradle.
earlier. Now watch very carefully around the bottom half of your screen.
What if it moved on its own?
I'd be
Real cozy.
quite excited if it did. I've never actually seen an object move of its own accord. I've heard things moving. I've never actually seen
I haven't
something with my own eyes moving. I've seen it on video.
Wow.
Now did you see the way that flickered as it came
Yes.
out? Because dust just moves erratically. It doesn't move in straight lines. Now those are impressive.
Although we didn't see the cop
Are
move,
they?
what we did see were these strange flashing lights.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, I've seen what are termed orbs. They're the small round sort of globe type ones. But these ones, these flashing ones, are something new to me. I've never seen that before. Never.
Are they seeing those with their eyes? Are they seeing those with their own eyeballs? Or are they seeing it through the screen of a night vision camcorder? I mean, I'm assuming, I think it's safe to assume that they are looking through a screen. It appears that it's probably pitch black in that space. So I don't buy that. I'm sorry. I don't buy that. I do not buy that unless they are suggesting that they have seen this with their own eyeballs. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. It could be anything. It could be dust. I don't buy that one. I'm sorry. If you believe in orbs, that's wonderful. It's my opinion that most of that is dust. Dust, dirt, stuff flying through the air. If you want to believe that it's orbs, live your life. I love that for you. I don't have a problem with you believing that it's orbs. I simply don't. I see the irony, saying that I can talk to the dead, and being like, no, I don't think orbs, no. But I don't. No.
What are orbs anyway?
Orbs are believed to be, by psychics and spiritual people, part of a ghost manifestation, the beginning stage of a ghost actually taking a human form, an apparition, if you like. What we know of them scientifically is that we can't explain them, and that's all we know.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Did you see that?
I did, yeah. The reason that I'm particularly interested in that is because, as we said, we've had activity.
And there was one there that was like moving up. Like, that could be like a little bug. Yeah. Like, you see this one, like, it's just going up.
The
like
reason that I'm...
No, that to me looks like it's like one of those little fucking little knit whatever bugs, like a fruit fly, something like that. And like this, it gives dust. It's reading dust, okay? I'm sorry, you can't convince me that this is not dust.
Particularly interested in that is because, as we said, we've had activity in that particular area in this room earlier on tonight.
We all heard, or some of us heard, the rocking. I heard it rocking, and that was the weirdest.
You heard it rocking, but nobody was in the room.
See those sparkly
thoughts to follow.
They are getting stronger. Whatever this is, it's getting stronger because those two flashes that you saw them, they are much, much brighter than the ones 5 minutes ago. I can't explain them.
I can. They're dust. I'm gonna stop now. I'm sorry.
Our first night in a haunted house had come to an end. It had encompassed fear and amazement, with a cradle that rocks on its own, flashing lights and strange feelings amongst the crew. We can definitely confirm that there's something strange going on at Athelhampton.
They gave us a napkin too, by the way, for $22.
Those bastards. This is not $22 worth of napkins.
Well, over the last 10 years, I've taken part in hundreds, literally, of investigations of alleged supernatural or paranormal events, and most of the time, nothing happens at all. That dog was obviously seeing something strange. It was looking at something very intently, and when I moved my hand in front of its vision, it was straining to watch whatever it was looking at. And dogs don't do that normally, unless, something is grabbing their attention, like another animal, for example. So that was interesting. But whether it was looking at Yvette or the lights or the cameras, which of course he's not used to, is a matter of personal opinion.
Well, it's often said, that the orbs are virtually the first stage, or one of the first stages of build-up of spirit people just before the ectoplasmic stage. And often said the more orbs that come together, the more can formulate and build the outline of that spirit entity.
It's not necessarily paranormal. We link it to ghosts because it is only caught at the moment in places where ghosts have been seen, but we don't know what it is.
To see and experience different, to the physical eye as well, different types of orbs, such as, flashing lights and what have you.
Are there different types of
It's
orbs?
very, very, very good as far as I'm concerned.
I guess.
And, put it down to this. They've tried very hard in their own way to show us, hey, we are around. And that's quite exciting to me.
24 hours complete at Athelhampton Hall, and there were some very strange occurrences last night that I don't think any of us will forget in a hurry. We shall see you on Most Haunted at the next location. Until then, sleep tight.
Sleep tight. And we're driving away. Right. I have thoughts. I don't really feel that any solid evidence was captured. Do you? I mean, it didn't ruin my memory of this show, because thinking back, I can't really remember there ever being anything that I can look back and be like, oh yeah, that was real concrete right there, yeah. Did it scare the absolute shit out of me as a child? Yes, because I was into this shit. So I would have been all into this. I was all into this. I genuinely don't think I've seen this because I really thought that it came out in 2005, but probably 2005 was just when it started airing in the United States? I don't know. Me and my bestie would like we would make a point to watch it. We would videotape. We would record it from the TV and then watch it together later. Well, sure, maybe there were some ghosts there. Maybe there are some ghosts there. I really genuinely remembered the medium Jericho Corr just kind of be like, woo, wacky and crazy. But actually, he wasn't that bad. Yeah, I mean, he seemed pretty reasonable, I felt, in my less than humble opinion. If the information that he gathered from the spirits is genuine, like he didn't know this beforehand, then that's impressive. I don't necessarily believe myself that he just had no idea where he was or what he was doing, like where he was going to go. It is still TV, you know? Even in 2002, like, it's still a produced television show. Like, it has to be interesting enough to air. So I don't know that I believe that. The whole thing, though, with the cradle, I already talked about it, but I do not believe that at all. Like, I don't believe that's genuine. Even if it is, like, you personally, like, you have to throw that out as evidence. Nobody saw it. Nobody was in the room. And here's the thing. The woman who called it out, the lady who lives there, who called it out and said, it's the cradle. She wasn't in the room with the other people when they heard the cradle. The cradle also being in another room. The cradle was in another room. The woman was in another room. And maybe, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mishearing. Maybe it was still going, but it sounded to me like when she said, oh my God, the cradle's moving, it sounded to me like it was slowing down or almost stopped. I think that she did it. That's my opinion. I think that she went into that space where no one else was, where no cameras were present, and she moved the cradle. And you know, I get it. Like they said earlier towards the beginning of the show, that a member of the public had claimed to see, I think, the gray lady that they really never addressed again. I don't know, whatever. The thing about these kind of houses, especially in the UK, homes like these typically survive because they are open to the public in some capacity. More often than not, you are going to find a private family that actually lives there and caretakes, because often these kind of country estates are passed down generation by generation. In this case, like this Cook family has bought it and restored it, but it's very clearly open to the public. I mean, you saw the cot. It was like partitioned off. Like there were like those like the ropes. It was roped off. So like realistically, a member of the public can't go into the immediate space and like fuck with it. But when you live there, you can. Like when it's your things, you can do what you want. But that tells me that like this, like they are running a business. Like how they keep the house going is by allowing people to pay a fee and come and tour the house. And you know what's really great press? Do you know what is really a really great attraction? A haunted house. Like what better to do than advertise like, ooh, come to, what is it? Athelhampton Hall. And maybe you'll see a ghost. And then you go on the show and we see sparkly dust and hear a cot that moves on its own, supposedly in another room where nobody else was except for maybe the woman who lives in the house. That's what I think happened with that. So if you want to believe that it moved on its own, that's fine. I don't agree. I don't think that it did. I think that she moved it. And frankly, I don't blame her. I do not blame her at all. Would I do it myself? No, but I understand why you would. Especially considering, like I said, it's open to the public. People come and they pay a fee to go and visit the house. It's a great selling point. It's ethical? No. Understandable? Yeah. But that's my thought on that. That was interesting and very low budget. That was back in the day where truly everything that they used was their eyes, their ears, their senses, and an EMF detector. Like that was it. It's a ghost. Everything's a ghost. Because that EMF detector goes off and it's a ghost. They didn't use it that we saw at all, so whatever. We talked about it and then immediately forgot that it existed. I'm sure we'll see him use it in other episodes because we're gonna do more episodes. I'm not stopping. You don't have to keep watching, but I'm going to. So that's it. That's the thing. You know, thank you for hanging out with me, I guess. If you stayed all the way through the end, that's amazing. All right, well, that's it. That's me. Do like and subscribe if you want to follow along on this interesting journey of reviewing vintage ghost shows. Do more. Let me know if you have any suggestions on shows that you would like me to, shall we say, give my unsolicited opinions about, you know? Okay, bye.